Man, that is rough. That my Hans Zimmer version of our news intro song was a little rough today. Why? We did a massive show. We just did a close to a 2-hour show with Alex Jones, which will be on our Patreon. The heat is on, kids. We're going to talk about it on the fake news today, but they're coming after everyone, and unfortunately, there is some episodes and some people that are getting pulled down. Alex Jones is one of them. We got the warning on that in advance, and we started a Patreon as fast as we can to get episodes like that up and out to you so that we don't change. Now, this won't change what we're going to do every single day on YouTube. You're actually just going to get extra shows a week on there. And right now, maybe 10, 15 minutes ago, Alex just walked out of here. We did an interview with him about what actually happened at the Capitol. Obviously, he was there. And if you've read any of the media coverage that's out there in the world right now, they're trying to pin some of the attacks on him. He provided his side of the story, which you will hear tomorrow on Patreon. What time is that, Giorgio, you think?
Well, it really depends on the users, right? The more people that sign up for Patreon, the quicker that episode's going to get released, basically.
Yeah. What's your hopes and dreams, Giorgio?
I told him 500.
You told him 500? All right. And we're already at like 450 or something like that right now.
He set the bar low.
Yeah, you set the bar low. I would have said 1,000.
Yeah, I would have said 1,000 too. Thanks a lot for fucking us over.
Yeah, I would have said 1,000. No, but it's look, it's like $1. There's some other realms where you can get like signed books and movies and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So we will make it worth your while, but we did not want to stop having the most interesting people in the world on our show on just because of what YouTube might think or someone else. And also, this is the biggest story for the last, decade? I mean, shit. It's hard to place how much importance what took place at the Capitol building. Like, it's hard to say what that is. He was there. He was in the chaos of it. I will say this. Tomorrow when you tune in to Patreon and sign up, you will get an interview like you've never heard before.
Yeah.
He was very apologetic. He was scared for what was going to happen.
Well, I mean,
to him.
nobody wants to see this shit. If there are people out there that want to cast the left or the right, depending on which side you're on, as evil, right? It's the same dehumanization tactic that we use in warfare, because it's easier to kill somebody that you don't feel connected to. There's good research. A book called On Killing by Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman looks into the Civil War specifically, but a lot of other conflicts as well, and determines based on the trajectory of rounds found in the ground and the known established locations of firing lines from the colonies and from the British in the Revolutionary War, and then the Civil War from the North and the South, and determined that something like 80% of people were firing over the heads of their counterparts, particularly in the Civil War.
Yeah,
because Americans didn't want to kill Americans. You know what I mean? Or maybe it was human beings didn't want to kill human beings. It's hard to say what the motivation was, but we know that over time it's been problematic for folks to justify killing other human beings, and it's something that we're seeing today. Luckily, right? I mean, I think there's a lot of reticence on everybody's behalf. Nobody wants to see. Most reasonable people, particularly people who have seen violence in a real way before, don't want to see it again.
Yeah, and me personally, like, look, I didn't want to see it over the summer. I didn't want to see it at the Capitol last week. And Alex was here to tell people, look, he's certainly not for it. I'm kind of stunned. We just finished the interview. I'm kind of stunned, to be honest with you. But you will never see an interview with Alex Jones like this. It'll be up on Patreon tomorrow. Giorgio set the bar real low of like 500 subscribers, but we're already at 450 or whatever it is. So just go to Drinkin Bros Podcast on Patreon. That interview, video and audio, will be up there tomorrow. Again, that will not affect what we do on YouTube every single day. You're actually going to get more shows out of it. And shit, we just recorded another one earlier. So you'll get a bonus show on a Friday night this week that'll go out on all of our regular channels. We don't want to risk getting tossed for this right now. We realize how fucking sensitive everybody's being. Hopefully this all dies down. I don't think it will. We're seeing most of our favorite comedians move over there and do more aggressive shit over there, which is why we started it. But it's a weird time, man, and we'll get into it during the fake news tonight. But with Parler and everything else that's going on, if you're on the right, look out.
It's not like we trust Patreon. I mean, the last time there was a big fucking movement like this, Patreon denied payouts for pretty much anybody that was conservative.
Right.
We don't give a fuck about the money.
It's simply just to pay our employees to do the shows, to be honest with you. Because we're asking them to stay extra hours. Yeah. We're going late today, obviously, and won't get out of here till late tonight because of it, because we're doing extra shows for the week. So it's just to pay them and to get this content out there to everybody, because I think it is important to hear somebody like him share his side of the story from being there and what actually went on. Because let's face it, there was two famous people there that day, Trump and Alex Jones. Yeah. As rad as the guy in the Viking helmet was, and his whole shit behind the lectern and everything, right? We're gonna forget who we're gonna forget that guy's name in 2 days.
And Alex tells the story of how he's trying to convince on the Patreon. I'm not gonna get too far into it because I want you guys to enjoy it unadulterated. But he tells the story of him trying to get the powers that be to let him get on the loudspeakers there in the area, in the lips, in the Capitol area, in the Pennsylvania Avenue area, and tell people to shut the fuck up and get out of the way, go home, don't do stupid bullshit. I mean, it's about a lot more than whatever you've got going on in your head right now. There's the optics of the situation, and how people are going to think about Trump supporters moving forward. I mean, was it Don Lemon that said that Trump supporters, people that voted for Trump, are now on the side of white supremacists and the KKK or some shit like that? Yeah. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Yeah. I mean, there's not been a bigger piece of shit in American media history than Don Lemon. Let's be real about that.
He's definitely up there.
Yeah, if there was a Sarah Williams Award for the biggest piece of shit in media, he would win it every single year. Yeah, he's literally one of the biggest pieces of shit. And to be honest, we've allowed too much of it. I mean, the people on the right have played this little political game and tried to be an apologist for politicians on the right or media figures on the right that are indefensible, and because of that, you're going to pay a price, right? Authenticity and applying the same standard, regardless of whether you agree with the person or not, is the only thing that solves this bullshit, in my opinion. It's the only thing that could ever solve it, because if you're unwilling to admit when your side is wrong, then you don't have the fucking street cred to call the other side out for being wrong. Yeah. You just don't have it. And here, that's where we are right now. So we'll see.
We'll see, but it'll be live on Patreon tomorrow. Giorgio said as soon as it hits 500 subscribers. Again, we're at 450, so I would imagine that thing will be up by 1 o'clock
I think we
tomorrow.
should just fire Giorgio.
Audio and video. You should have said 1,000 or 2,000 people, so let's raise it to 1,000. 1,000 people, it's only $1. And then Craigers just give us 20 and said, "Here you go, boys, for drugs and drinks for your overtime today." Yeah, man, we've recorded a lot of shows here in the last couple of days.
I've recorded 6, and you've recorded 7 in the last 2 days.
Yeah. And again, people are off because of COVID and everything else. Yeah. You're at home and you're watching this. You also don't have any other voices out there.
Tim Pool just got banned from Facebook.
Did he really?
Tim Pool is like one of the most level-headed dudes. It's like, what the fuck, man?
Tim Pool did? Who said that? Is that real?
Elizabeth Carmela, comedian, in the chat said that.
Holy shit!
I can't. That's
like. Will you fact check that real quick?
That's like Jordan Peterson getting banned.
Yeesh.
Like people are trying to frame these things in ways that seem offensive. Like Jordan Peterson said he would refuse to call somebody by their preferred gender pronoun. It's like that's not what he said. What he said was, I'm not going to go out of my way to misgender somebody. No. But if you pass a law that says I have to say certain words, you can suck my dick. Yeah. Like, society cannot exist that way. We've seen this fucking movie before, and most of us got up and walked out half of the way through. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we're not doing it again here. That one is wild to me. The fact that Tim Pool gets banned.
If that's true, yeah. Fact check that. Did you find him?
All I could find on Twitter was someone quoting, I guess, what he's currently saying himself on YouTube.
Sure.
And he says it's restricted, which means effectively shut down.
Gotcha. So Tim Pool's got a very big podcast. Actually, he's got a shit ton of followers on YouTube. Man, my question too, becomes with the AI and everything involved, you could say certain words or whatever, and it's like they can nuke you. I don't know when this is going to end, if it's going to end. I talked with Alex about it. I just said, hey man, the left won everything at this point. So when you control the media and everything else, he's still on Twitter right now, and I wonder what it was over. Who knows?
Yeah, I assume he's saving that for his show.
Podcast, yeah, which I'm sure will get a gajillion listeners. Because look, now this is happening in real time, and you're talking about it out loud. I'm thinking back to Logan Paul, for example, right? He videotaped a guy hanging in a tree in Japan, a dead guy, versus talking about politics, right? Mm-hmm. Which is worse? Logan Paul had a fuck ton of subscribers as well, and they eventually let him back on the platform and monetize him and all that other shit. And he's got a podcast now, and that's on the platform, and that's huge as well. So this is clearly just a line drawn for political reasons, but I don't see Tim Pool out inciting violence or anything. One would imagine. Who knows? Maybe he went fucking bug fuck too, but it's getting scary out there. Look, that's the perfect example of why certain shows will have to be shifted over to Patreon. There was also a rumor that we weren't allowed to use the phrase fake news anymore because we've been doing the show for, 2 years now at this point. I don't know what to think about that. The other one that I heard from YouTube was that if you talk about election fraud and say that the election was stolen or stop the steal or anything else like that, they will pull your videos off the thing and all that other stuff. I know Facebook is doing that as well with the phrase "stop the steal." I think they ripped that down, and you're not allowed to post that either. So it's getting weird out there, kids. And tomorrow will be a big show for you to listen to over on Patreon. So go over to Drinkin Bros Podcast. We realize that Patreon is not perfect, but it is a platform that a lot of aggressive comedians are using today, and we still consider ourselves comedians, even though everything that's going on is not that funny right now. I mean, God damn it, man, it's getting crazy out there. So let's get to the news, shall we? First up, National Guard is at the Capitol. 20,000 National Guard troops have been deployed for Joe Biden's inauguration. Are they worried about Gaga? Because I think Lady Gaga is singing the national anthem. Is that who they're all 20,000 for Gaga? Or?
Are you talking about protecting her or protecting all of us from Lady Gaga? Right.
Protecting Gaga.
From her, remember that video she made a couple of months ago where it's just she was just making fun of Southern Trump supporters?
Yeah.
Oh, you get it.
Yeah.
You get it, lady. You get it, you stupid fucking bitch. Jesus Christ, man.
Well, the weird thing about Gaga is she knows her audience and at least knows her brand. It is definitely not Trump supporters who are Gaga listeners. So, it is what it is. I know these guys are there. We've mentioned this about possible or potential violence coming up. I don't see it happening. I know you said you did. Mm-hmm. Do you still now with this many people there? Because it seems like they're getting these pictures out of all the troops and everything as fast as they can in the media to be all right, cool, man, don't do anything now because we've got the whole thing here. Do you think anything is going to happen this weekend or going into the inauguration?
I mean, I doubt anything at the inauguration will happen, but other stuff throughout the country probably will, yeah. There's a lot of frustrated people. I mean, Martin Luther King used to say that riots are the voice of the unheard, right? Yep. People start to get angry and violent when they feel like they have a good point. They feel like the facts are on their side. they feel like they're the aggrieved party, and people treat them like the aggressor, right? So when you can imagine in the 80s and 90s where white America, particularly the left, actually, particularly Hillary Clinton, as a matter of fact, with the crime bill, decided to brand young black men 15 to 25 as problematic, right? Super predators, I believe. Like, we've got to get these people off the street, then we can decide,
right,
what else to do after that. That's paraphrasing, but that's essentially what you said. You can imagine what it feels like to be a 19-year-old black kid that's like, look, I grew up in kind of a shitty situation. It would be great if you could offer me some help instead of lumping me in with a bunch of assholes. That'd be dope. Could you do that?
Yeah.
And you can imagine what an otherwise intelligent and reasonable person who's just trying to make their way through life feels like when I'm doing all the right things. It's probably the same way that a suburban white person feels when people call them racist because they're successful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would imagine it's the same. And again, it draws back to the thing that I say all the time. And it is that everybody appears to be, from my perspective, fighting the same enemy, but they, for whatever reason, feel like they're fighting each other. And it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and the topic keeps coming up of the guys who stormed the Capitol versus what happened over the summer, right? And who's right and who's wrong and all of that. I was watching, I think it was a Lakers game the other night. It was the NBA crew at halftime. It was a great crew, but what they were saying was, they were like, look, black people were mad over the summer because they were getting shot and killed for no reason. And white people are mad about a vote. The thing is, man, a vote is sometimes your livelihood, sometimes your life, sometimes what you're doing. Like, it's all happening right now that's going on around us. Like, voting is important. If the wrong people get in at the wrong times, bad shit can happen.
Right.
And depending upon which side you believe in, you can look at what happened over the summer as bad, or you can look at what happened at the Capitol as bad. But it's not going away anytime soon. And the media is certainly looking to divide us on all of this shit. In regards to the 20,000 troops here who are at the Capitol already, there was one thing that really bothered me that I saw last night and on a lot of news channels throughout the evening, in all of their footage, was troops sleeping inside the Capitol.
Right.
And they said, why are they sleeping on the ground? This is disrespectful.
Disrespectful to whom?
That's what I wanted to ask you about. Because all of our friends, and look, because I'm not in the military, obviously, I never have been, all of our friends that are in the military can sleep anywhere at any time, any place. And like, finally I asked Jared, I was like, what's the story with that? And he goes, oh man, we've been everywhere there is. Like, you got to get sleep when you can get it, because you don't know what the fuck's going to go off. They keep showing these pictures of the troops sleeping inside the Capitol.
What are they supposed to be doing? Here, when you deploy soldiers somewhere or Marines, essentially what you're going to see is boredom, right? And exhaustion, because it took whatever. You see them show up and you think they just like walked out of their house, put the uniform on and showed up. No, there was like a fucking 15-hour series of bullshit just for them to get on transportation to get to where they're fucking going in the first place. It's the military. So let me think of an anecdote. Let's say we had a show to do tomorrow at 8 a.m., right?
Yeah.
And there's 4 layers of bullshit bureaucracy. Like, we own the company, so we get to tell people what to do. They get to tell their subordinates what to do, and so on. Everybody tells everybody to be 15 minutes earlier than the last person told them. Right. Because you want time to make sure your people in line before your supervisor is like, okay, cool, good. And everybody wants that extra layer. So you end up showing up at 4 o'clock in the goddamn morning for something that starts at 8. It's fucking stupid. Yeah. Right. And that's what happens here. So that by the time these motherfuckers show up, they're just like, ugh, God, are you fucking serious? I've got to do this. So what they do is they make a bed out of whatever they can find. Yeah. It's in this case, you can see it's MRE boxes mostly. Yeah. And they're just sleeping on top of them. And they're fucking sitting down Indian style with their backs up against each other like fucking Forrest Gump and Bubba out in the fucking bush, because they don't know what's happening next. You don't know when you're going to be awake for the next 18 to 24 hours.
Right.
So you have to sleep and you can do. To call it disrespectful, what the fuck?
I know.
Disrespectful to what?
I don't know.
To the building. All they're trying to do is make. They're trying to lump the military in the same way they're trying to do with the Capitol Police right now, with 200 assholes that stormed the Capitol. They're trying to make the entire conservative half of America, the police, the firefighters, the fucking soldiers who predominantly are on that side of the fence, look bad. That's all they're trying to do. It's fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, it's strange, and I keep seeing those pictures of the sleeping soldiers or whatever they're calling them, and I'm just like, hey man, fuck. We've done a bunch of shows, and like, dude, if I can grab a half hour in between, yeah, I'll be in that back couch where somebody got cream pie taking a little sleep, you know?
Yeah, she's probably going to get cream pied again. She's going to be out here again soon.
Oh, is she coming out? Good for her.
Yeah, for the McGregor fight, right?
Look at that. Giorgio, are you doing the cream pieing, or what's that? How's it looking for you? No, he says no.
We'll see.
We'll see. I'll never throw it past Giorgio. But I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. With 20,000 troops deployed, I would have a hard time believing there's going to be some uprising that happens at the Capitol or during the inauguration.
Well, I don't mean to be a dick.
I would worry more about like other cities and things like that.
For sure, I agree with that. But not to be a dick, but it's National Guard.
National Guard, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
To anybody in the National Guard out there, just know I respect you. Okay, Dan.
I don't disrespect you, but you don't get the kind of training you need to do a job like that, working one weekend a month and 2 weeks out of the year. Sorry. Like before we go on a deployment, it's 9 consecutive months and what we call an ITC, an intensive training cycle. Like you get most weekends, I guess you get off, but for the most part, you're getting your ass kicked for 9 straight months before you go do a 4-month deployment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're doubling up on the amount of training before you actually go do the thing you're going to do. It's not a matter of competence. It's a matter of fucking time, right? It is what it is.
But that's plenty of people. I don't think anything's going to happen. At least I hope not. I mean, shit. If it does again on top of it, like, dude, the media will have a fucking field day with it.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
I mean, they're picking apart every single thing that's going on now. I read this article about Matthew McConaughey yesterday. That's our next story. They were talking about him, toying with the alt-right and all these podcasts that he's doing and everything else.
Yeah, it's really funny.
They alluded to us. They brought up Russell Brand. He was on Joe Rogan. He was on...
Imagine Russell Brand being cast as an alt-right figurehead. You know what I mean? It's wild as fuck, man.
I know.
I mean, I'll tell you when it wasn't Jordan Peterson. It wasn't Rob.
He was on Jordan Peterson, right?
I'm talking about Rogan's show.
Yeah.
It wasn't Jordan Peterson. It wasn't any of the military people. It wasn't any of that shit that pissed off liberals. What it was when he had Tulsi Gabbard on.
Yeah.
He brought a liberal on that was willing to talk shit about other liberals, and they were like, fuck her, no.
Yeah.
No, you're alt-right now. Like, oh boy, here we go.
Here we go.
And imagine the fucking audacity for... You can tell it's like somebody that's holding on for dear life, right? Ideologically, because when you get to the point in your argument where you're trying to convince people that Matthew McConaughey is alt-right, you have to know at some point that you've lost that argument, right? It's like when you get into an argument with your wife and she's like, fucking blah, and you're like, no, because this, and then halfway through you realize you're wrong, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
This is what that is, and they've decided to double down and actually call Matthew McConaughey an alt-right figurehead. They call Jordan Peterson a controversial Canadian professor because he stands up for the freedom of speech. He didn't. I hate fucking saying this so many goddamn times, and he has explained it so many times. I'm not going to misgender somebody to be a dick, but if you tell me under penalty of law that I have to say some words, I'm never going to be okay with that. Yeah. That's all he said.
Yep.
That's a very fucking reasonable thing to say. John Locke would agree. There's a lot of people that would agree with that sentiment. People that were fucking instrumental in the founding, not only of the idea of democracy, but our particular republic would agree with that statement. But for whatever reason, he turns out to be this. And it'll be their downfall eventually. They'll get so hyperbolic that nobody will believe anything they say anymore. And they'll be left in the same way that the Tea Party was in 2010 through 2012, with just the radicals' voices left.
Right.
And they'll get dismissed in history. The question is, how much damage can they do between now and then?
I don't know. How long did the Tea Party last?
2 years.
Okay.
Well, maybe 4. You could say 2014, I guess.
Yeah. So maybe that long. I don't really know. I can't answer to this because this was in the Daily Beast, this McConaughey thing. He's one of the most genuine people you can ever talk to. He will literally answer anything that you ask him, and he'll do it in a positive and thoughtful manner.
Like, he goes on these shows and he's like, hey, I think we should all drop the politics stuff and be like radically centrist, radically American. Let's be Americans and let's talk about what we can all do to be best for everybody. Oh, you fucking alt-right, man.
Yeah.
If you don't agree with it, like that, but it really does betray the intellectual bankruptcy of that ideology, right? It's just nonsense.
It's crazy, and I will say this: maybe they were pissed because of the Drinkin bros. After he was on this show, and we were raving about his audiobook, he was number 2, and he got pushed to number 1 on the New York Times bestseller
Same
list.
thing happened with our buddy Brent Gleason there. Embrace the Suck.
Yeah, Brent Gleason, dude. You've seen him ever. He was on the Today Show. Go to a single of this.
Yeah.
Real quick. Man of his word. Sent in a signed copy. He went to number 1 on Amazon as well, and then he was on the Today Show. What, a week after he did our show?
Yeah.
And his book is crushing it. So pick that up as well. But McConaughey's audiobook pushed Barack Obama out of number 1, surprisingly, and. It is the greatest audiobook of all time. I've actually listened to both because I try to listen to the other side as well, where I'm like, all right, cool, man. Maybe there's some nuggets or stories or something I missed. And the Obama book was just looks obviously somebody else wrote it, but there was no edge to it. There was no realness to it. Whereas, like, dude, you read McConaughey's book and you listen to that audiobook, holy fucking shit, dude. He told stories in there that I was like, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have left that out, but
he doesn't care about that because this is the conversation that he had with Jordan Peterson. Part of it kind of went off into a discussion of Louis C.K., right?
Yeah.
And Peterson was like, look, clearly Louis C.K. did some things that were, I think he used the phrase unseemly, and he said even Louis C.K.'s own standard would define his behavior as unseemly. So there's no question about that. Now, do we want to allow this person to rejoin society, or do we not? The left has for years preached about the inefficiency of the criminal justice system and how there's no real reformation. There's no fucking rehabilitation that happens in American justice. You put somebody in prison and they learn how to fucking be a prisoner now.
Yeah.
And when they get out, they continue acting that way forever. And they usually go back, right? The recidivism rate for those people is incredible. So what are we doing here? It's not about fucking justice. It's not about holding people accountable. It's certainly not about the greater good. It's about fucking making a point for yourself and your own ideology. And if that is the case, then you're a cunt, right? Ultimately, you need to be able to fucking put your own bullshit aside and say, what's best for the country, even if I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Peterson's like, how do we benefit from not allowing Louis C.K. to regain his status? Like a person that's talented like that, or even if they weren't talented in the same way he is, how do we benefit from anytime anybody does anything wrong, they're gone? Like there will be none of us left. It's the fucking an eye for an eye makes the whole world go blind. We've talked about this for thousands of years, and Americans in 2021 are the dumbest motherfuckers on earth because we have the best possible scenario. We've got everything we could ever want. We won the lottery by being born here. And what we did with our lottery winnings was somehow develop a fucking mechanism to self-destruct. It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my fucking life.
I think a lot of it has to do with big tech, and I'm not a conspiracy fucking dude at all, but the more and more you look into this shit, and with people being banned, even like Tim Pool on Today, it's just, you're setting it up for only hearing one voice or one side of an argument. And, you had Jack Dorsey's meltdown today, fucking questioning whether or not it was right to ban Trump out in the open with that fucking 9-tweet soliloquy of whatever bullshit he's swimming in right now. Like, hey, man, you guys did it. So either you can correct it or not, or pretty soon, well, everybody will be gone, and it's only people you agree with, and then there we are.
Well, how do you deal with the, like, intellectually speaking, I would wonder this about, I don't have this issue because of the way my fucking dumb brain works, but I wonder what it felt like if you're a conservative and you finally saw the data behind the criminal justice system and how it is clearly, I wouldn't say rigged against, but circumstantially rigged against because of poverty, people of color in this country. Like, how do you feel about that statement? Well, like because it requires, if you're a good human being and you realize that some people are not doing as well as you, and it's for a specific purpose that we can probably do something about, you should feel a way about that. You should be like, you know what, fuck that. I'm not letting this happen to my own countrymen. You should feel it demands that you act on that, right?
Absolutely. And I think the weird thing about it is with an issue like that, I really don't look at a party. Republicans and Democrats should have fixed this a long time ago. Especially with these ticky-tack drug charges and shit like that with weed. Weed in particular. I mean, there's how many people locked up because of fucking weed, for Christ's sakes?
3.5 million. It's about 33 or 34% of the people in federal, or not in federal, but in prison in the United States are in for some kind of marijuana-related offense.
And I would guess that the majority of that 3.5 million are probably not white. You could have started there. And, you know, as all this was going on over the years and years and years, right, one would have thought, shit, just take Obama, right?
Yeah.
That he would have gone in and changed that or changed Chicago or anything else. He didn't. Trump could have gone in there, signed a bill and said, hey, man, let's get rid of this and just let these guys go and have them start over and try a new life. Nobody has done it. It's on both sides. So,
but the point of all that is you, like a reasonable person can look at information and be like, you know what? It doesn't matter what my preconceptions are. This information is right, which means I've been wrong.
Yeah.
And that's an important thing in society. And I wondered now about the left and how when these mainstream figures who are known for nothing more than just being thoughtful human beings, like Peterson and Matthew McConaughey and fucking Russell Brand, for Christ's sake, are being cast as alt-right fucking heroes, man. Like, if you're somebody on the left right now, you have to take a really fucking strong look at the way you believe, the way you look at the world and how you process the things that are happening in the world. Because if people like Matthew McConaughey and Jordan Peterson and Russell Brand seem alt-right to you, then you're fucked.
And Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's in this article
too. Yeah, Rogan as well, yeah. And us. I mean, you're a conservative, but if anybody can fucking accuse me of being a conservative, I would love to see the evidence behind that.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with fucking facts, reality. It has to do with us and them. And us and them is this fucking stupid battle that I thought we were gonna get ahead of at some point, but maybe we can't. I don't know. Maybe we need us and them. Maybe we need a better them. Maybe we need aliens. Maybe we need Russia or China, or maybe we need some enemy, right? Maybe the human condition requires that, and we need to do that somehow. And if that's the case, then you have to look back at imperialism, right? Like, how do you govern Rome? You govern Rome by taking over Gaul, right? I mean, say what you want about it, but Marcus Aurelius, one of the best, most well-known philosophers and even in some cases humanitarians of all time, was mostly known for his philosophy work, but in practice and reality, he was known for conquering territories.
No.
You know what I mean? So maybe that's just how it is.
Maybe it is. Even when it comes back to me personally, like, being mostly conservative, it's because that's where I line up the most on one side, right? But I'm also a reasonable person. And if I'm able to see right and wrong, and I don't know how many people are reasonable anymore and able to look at both sides anymore because everybody's so angry about one thing that it's you're channeling that anger into something that you'll probably never get an answer on.
Right. Well, I would encourage people to, if you're out there, part of the national discourse, part of the zeitgeist, for lack of a better phrase, right now your instinct is probably, if you hear some hyperbole from the other side of the aisle, whichever that happens to be, your idea is like, I'm going to block them, I'm going to shut that down, I'm going to ignore that. That's fine, I guess. I mean, that's stupid. I don't think you should do that. I think you should listen. You should listen more when it's uncomfortable than you should when it's comfortable, because that's when you fucking learn shit, by the way. But you should certainly be a lot more open to criticizing the people that are closest and think most like you than you are to criticizing the people that don't think like you, because you don't know why they think that way. Like, if you don't think the way somebody else does, chances are you've had a much different life. You have different experience. You have different information. And that is a fucking opportunity for you to come glean information, not to prove these people wrong, but to understand why they feel that way. Maybe they're wrong. Maybe they're right. But if you don't ever understand why they're wrong or right, you could never fucking mount a true defense to that type of ideology. And that's where we are now. We're just shouting at one another in different languages. Nobody knows what the fuck is happening. And the next step is obviously going to be violence.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, I wasn't psyched about it in the summer. I wasn't psyched about it at the Capitol building. That's both sides. And, we'll see what happens this weekend. Hopefully nothing. Hopefully nothing happens during the inauguration. To be honest with you, Lady Gaga is going to sing our national anthem. And
after she
was born this way.
She spent the summer making fun of Southern Trump supporters, and now she's the person they wheel out there.
Which is only going to fucking rile people up more. For real. People are fucking angry about that. If you are at home, though, and you're watching the Alex Jones interview tomorrow on our Patreon on Drinkin Bros podcast, hopefully you're doing it from a ghost bed, from ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. 30% off everything in the entire store. That's for everybody. That is for the New Year's sale right now. Some of these states are still shut down, and I know they were going to continue that deal for a while, which is awesome of them. Do you, Giorgio, do you watch Patreon on TV? Or is it an app? I'm curious to know because we just started this whole thing.
We had a couple messages about that too. The best way to do it is if you guys have a laptop or any computer, just hook that up
or
with
a
an
phone.
HDMI.
Your phone, dude.
Or your phone,
really
hook that up
easy,
with an HDMI cable. Computer's usually a little bit easier for some of the people out there.
Yeah.
Right up to your TV. That is the best way to watch it. There is no native TV app yet.
Yeah.
But you
like
can if you have an
YouTube.
iPhone and Apple TV, for example, if you have any compatible shit between your phone and your TV, you can stream that way. Obviously, any kind of whatever ports your computer have plus HDMI into your TV will work.
I read a statistic that's like 83% of people who watch podcasts, it's on their phone anyway. So feel free. You can watch it on your phone. And look, if you have the adjustable base, you can plug that USB in right into the goddamn frame. Charge it up, dude. Watch it on your phone. Go to ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros today, where as always, they get a 36-month pay-as-you-go program. No interest plan there, and all of the 30% deals are applicable with that. Therefore, shit, man, $35 a month, sleeping like a little tiny king. So go to ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros today. Next up, people are done with the dining bans. Health officials in Oregon and other states with bans say they are necessary because people can't wear masks when they eat, are in close proximity in smaller and often poorly ventilated spaces, and are prone to talk more loudly in a crowded dining room, all of which are alleged contributors to spreading the virus. I haven't heard too much about the CDC during all of this fucking chaos. It's weird to hop back into this. The Centers of Disease, the CDC, and Prevention lists indoor dining as particularly high risk activity. In Oregon, an organized effort to get businesses reopened for indoor service started January 1st and has been championed by several mayors. And they formed a group to raise legal defense funds in anticipation for a court fight. Look, I know similar things have been going on in Michigan, Pennsylvania, California, Washington. I just flew to Florida. I was in Florida over the weekend. Indoor dining. Everything was fine. There was a lot of people.
Yeah, it seems like the attitudes have shifted somehow. I mean,
depends on which state you're in. I will say that.
Well, New York is one of them now, right? Because even Cuomo is like, "Hey, we gotta open up these businesses, guys." Like,
about 8 months too late on that.
Imagine the audacity of that motherfucker, man. I mean, coming out and telling people whose businesses he's fucking ruined forever. Right.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're trying to look out for the people, man. Like trying to recast yourself as a hero. This is what in a relationship with a gaslighting sociopath feels like. So if you're feeling right now like you're crazy, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe, we'll get to this in a few minutes, I can't believe Twitter is putting out a statement about free elections in Uganda right now. And an open internet. I can't believe Jack Dorsey's crying on television talking about, I just didn't want to. Like if you feel like your husband isn't beating the shit out of you and then comes back into the room and tells you how much he loves you and like, look, honey, I don't want to hit you, but I don't want to hit you, but this is what you're hearing from Cuomo right now. You won't be hearing it from Gavin Newsom too much longer because that bitch is getting recalled.
It's getting close.
Yeah, and this is, if you're feeling like that, there's a reason for it. People are fucking sick of this bullshit. I don't think party matters anymore in a lot of this. The revolts in Michigan, Pennsylvania, California, and Washington in particular have you know, and I would say New Jersey as well because of Ian's place there, the fucking gym. I don't know if you heard about that fucking story, but apparently the governor of New Jersey just wiped out their entire bank account. So if you're out there and you own a small business and you're planning on fucking keeping open against the rules in your state or city, make sure you're moving your money to a place like a credit union or something that they can't get to.
Cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, is through the roof right now, and that is the number one reason people are afraid and they don't know what to do.
And I'll tell you why. Like, there's a lot of stuff people will put up with. There's two things they want. One, they won't put up with cruelty in general, right? If people see cruelty en masse in a modern society, they will reject that shit and they will fight against it. You'll see conservatives fighting on behalf of liberals and vice versa. You will see all kinds of shit that you would never think of about cruelty. The other thing people will not tolerate is when you interrupt their ability to make their own living in the United States. And man, I mean, people have so far, like in Oregon not too long ago, protesters showed up at the house of the inspector and department top administrator after the state fined a local gym chain. It was Capital Racket Sports.
90 grand.
90 grand, and then another fucking 125 grand after that. And you were playing a very fucking dangerous game. You think that the power rests in the mechanism of government somehow, but the mechanism of government is only even recognized because of the will of the people. Like, I'm too busy to deal with that. I want you to deal with it for me. Do a good job and do it cheap because we don't want to fucking spend too much of our own fucking money. And then I find out that this motherfucker has been doing all this bullshit. I'm going to be pretty upset about it. Then they come from my shit in addition to all the bullshit they've been doing. Now it's time to fight. You know what I mean? And you're picking a fight with the side that spent all this time wishing for a fight. Why? Like, I don't get this fucking, I don't understand the fucking logic behind any of this shit.
I don't understand it. And I also don't understand how the economy is still able to hold up right now.
Well, the American economy is very robust. Generally speaking, it is very. It's
with everything that is going on. One would think, right, with all the problems in New York and California and everything else, with everybody's business being shut down. How are you living? And there has not been a stimulus check in 6 months at this point.
Yeah, and now apparently now Biden is saying
he wants the
$2,000s back on the table. Like, well, it was your party that said no to that, so. Let's not fucking rewrite history entirely. Let's remember.
Trump was the one that wanted that.
Yeah, let's remember that it was fucking Donald T. J. Trump Jr. James, whatever the fuck his stupid name is, that wanted that fucking shit in the first place. But it'll never matter. Like, we'll never remember that. It's your duty, by the way, as an American, to stand up to this shit. When somebody tries, it's one thing if somebody's rude to you. If somebody's rude to you and you're busy, I don't want to deal with this shit. Fuck that. I'm just going to move on with my life. I don't need to be baited into every single fight. Choose your battles wisely. When the fight, even if it's okay for you, if you're a small business owner but you're going to be fine, you still owe it to your country to fucking speak out about this bullshit because there's people that won't be fine, right? That's who we fight for. You don't fight for the people that can take care of themselves. You fight for the people that fucking can't.
And the real hero over the last 2 months has been Dave Portnoy from Barstool, man. That Barstool Fund has raised $23 million and helped over 160 something businesses. And if you wonder why it's not more with that amount of money, he is literally buying them out of all of their shit.
Yeah.
So they don't have any debt.
Yeah.
So they have zero debt from all of this. And it's crazy that the owner of Barstool Sports has done a better job than our own fucking governments.
Well, it's good that he's doing it, and that is the American spirit. I mean, we talked about it plenty of times on this show before, but nobody is more generous than the American citizen, not the government. Forget about all that. Forget about all the fucking money we spend on foreign countries, particularly with this last fucking dumbass COVID relief bill that for some reason 65% of it went to other places. Like that's
Wasn't one of it like gender studies over in
Pakistan. Yeah. Because they're getting
like 160 million or something?
It's 10 million for that. Yeah. It was, but more for in general. But this is not a solution. The solution is not for private businesses to make up for where the government is fucked up. The solution is that Dave Portnoy, in the absence of government interference, would have done this anyway because he's a good fucking man.
Yeah.
And there's other good people out there that would have done the same thing. We didn't have to, like, that is a fallback plan. That's not plan B. That's not plan A. That should be plan B. Like, if everything goes wrong, hey, we got you. Don't worry about it. That's your community talking.
Yeah.
If the government is the one that created the scenario where you're fucking hanging off the edge of the cliff, then that is a problem, right? It's one thing where we pick up the slack and help each other. It's another thing entirely where we're having to fight against our own government just to fucking eat.
Yep.
That is when violence fucking happens, my man. I'm telling you. Have you ever seen a hungry woman before?
Try to date them.
You don't want to fucking fight a hungry.
Try to date them.
Of all the women that you want to deal with in your life, the hungry one is the one that you should be most afraid of.
Yeah.
Regardless of whatever else she's got going on in life, or you, or what your relationship is, you should always be afraid of a hungry woman. And I'm telling the U.S. government, you should be afraid of hungry Americans, because if they feel like you're taking food out of their mouths or their family's mouths, they are fucking coming for you. It doesn't matter who you are. Fuck all this patriotism. Like, you're a fucking terrorist if you fucking do this, or you're not. That's not American if you do that. Look, you start taking food out of people's fucking mouths, all that other bullshit is gone.
Yeah.
That's gone. Nobody cares about that anymore. All they care about is food. Right.
But I will say this: Giorgio does love hungry women, and that is
hungry or thirsty. What do you mean, like
both hungry and thirsty,
like
and
Holocaust levels, or
Hungry women make good decisions. You know, they're pretty focused. You know,
yeah,
they know what they want.
Yeah, they want a
Go
good
after
meal, and then they'll pretty much they're down to party after that. So proud of you, Giorgio. Proud of you on the.
I'm not sure if that is accurate at all.
And congratulations, everyone. We have hit 500 Patreon subscribers. As soon as the Alex Jones video is done rendering, it will be up.
Yeah, as soon as we hit 1,000, it'll be up.
Yeah, 1,000, Giorgio.
Fuck him.
Now we've got to up the bar. You surpassed your goal really quickly, and that was so it'll be 1,000. No, it'll be up as soon as I know I can see you guys editing it over there, so that'll be up shortly. But
yeah, JR, you're right. Thick women way better than hungry women.
Yeah, all day.
Right.
All day.
I mean, maybe thick women are also hungry, and that's why they're thick. I don't know.
Who knows?
But the point of that metaphor was a hangry. This is something common we've all dealt with. A hangry woman, you're like, man, she's fucking wild to know she's hungry.
Yeah.
Right. Just feed her and she'll shut the fuck up.
Give her some street tacos.
So that's this is the fucking game we're playing right now. We're playing this game where it's Danny Worsnop's fucking lyric all over the place, right? I mean, that whole last album of his with Asking Alexandria was incredible. But one of the lyrics is like, the more that they take from us, they feel the more that they take from us, the better off they'll be. The better off we'll be, rather. That is the behavior of a fucking lunatic. Like, if you really think in any situation, if you can strip the power and self-determinism away from people, and they'll be better. People are just fucking stupid, man. Just take all the fucking responsibility away and let them drone their way through lives. No, life is about failure and how you deal with it. You know what I mean? Think about the best at things that have ever existed. The thing that they fucking challenge themselves with on a daily basis is not success. Like, I don't want to be the best. Michael Jordan didn't sit around thinking about being the best. He sat around thinking about, that motherfucker said, what?
Yeah.
Fuck him. I'm not going to fail against this bitch.
Yeah.
That was his motivation. The best who've ever done anything in life weren't worried about, they weren't trying to succeed for success's sake. They were trying to avoid failure because they knew the fucking risk. The risk of failure in our country is that our country falls apart and our people die, right? On the basketball court, obviously, it's less dramatic than that, but this is the fucking fight we're having. We're having a fight over what it is that we want at the end of the day. What do you want at the end of the day? Do you want to be able to determine your own? You want to do what you want for the most part and have a safe society to do it in? Or do you want fucking the government telling you what to do all the time? I don't think I can fucking name anybody that would want the latter, but for some reason people are fighting die hard to make that happen. And it boggles the fucking mind.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it is probably going to continue. So you might as well fuck the pain away, and you can do that at GetRoman.com/Drinkin Bros. This is probably the hardest segue I've ever had to make in my life. Get Roman is here to cure not only your erectile dysfunction, but if you just want a party boner just to hit the streets with, on the weekends. Florida was open for business, dude, all week when I was there. They're ready to rock. Look, we know it can be awkward and embarrassing to talk about ED. Usually brush it off or whatever. You certainly don't want to go in and see a fucking doctor and chat with them about it. At GetRoman.com/Drinkin Bros, you can just talk to a doctor online, get your pills sent to you in a very discreet package, and move on with your life. You can get a free online evaluation and ongoing care for ED in the comfort and privacy of your own home. A healthcare professional will work with you to get the best treatment plan. Roman will ship you real medicine with free 2-day shipping. Whole process, pretty straightforward and simple, and like I said, very, very discreet. Just go to GetRoman.com/Drinkin Bros and complete the online visits. And just go to GetRoman.com/Drinkin Bros. You get $15 off your first order of ED treatment, a free online visit, and free 2-day shipping. So that shit will be in your mailbox in fucking 48 hours. That's GetRoman.com/Drinkin Bros for $15 off your first order of ED treatments. Go to GetRoman.com/Drinkin Bros today and get a party boner on.
Don't tell me what to do.
Look, Dan, I think if anybody needs a party boner, it's you.
You
might be going to KC this weekend.
I am.
Yeah.
And I've always got a boner too.
Yeah, party boner, dude.
Yeah, well, I've got various types. It's like a fucking what do you call it? The Swiss Army dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can pull out anything here.
I gotta be honest with you. There's no better NFL environment to rage than
Arrowhead. Yeah,
that's a great.
I mean, it's gonna be
stadium.
cold as fuck, but I'll be so drunken on drugs that it won't matter.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, I'm
You're
taking
fine up
I'm taking
there.
like an 8-gram moon rock up there, so I'm gonna be so high it won't even matter.
You won't even know who's playing up
No,
there.
I'll be high on hash oil watching a football game. So good luck.
Yeah, have fun.
If you're gonna be in Kansas City this weekend, good luck trying to fucking talk to me.
yeah, find Dan.
I'm just gonna be sitting there drooling out of the fucking I look like Terry Schiavo. So
Yeah,
good luck trying to talk
find
to me.
Dan.
Yeah.
Next up, Nancy. If you needed any more reasons to think Nancy Pelosi is a fucking imbecile, and it took her about 6 seconds to break the dumbass rules that she and the other Democrats in Congress made for
Do
this
you remember
session.
this shit,
Yeah,
right?
dude.
Like no gendered fucking language at all in Congress. The first thing she said in the news session, I'm a mother and a grandmother and a daughter and a sister and a like, oh shit, really? We're just doing that, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine that shit? I don't it's one thing to do dumb shit. It's another thing to come out after you've done shit and be like, I did that dumb shit. Fuck you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is wrong with these people?
But it's the same woman who got the fucking blowout at the salon in
Yeah.
California when everybody was shut down.
Today,
and-
she also proposed $500 fines for the first offense of not wearing a mask at the Capitol, and then a $1,500 fine. And we'll see after that.
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't even keep your fucking mask on in a fucking in a public place. Much
No.
less, it's just you assholes. To be honest, if there's a COVID outbreak and all those fucking septa and octogenarians in Congress die, oh no,
Yeah.
please don't happen. Fuck those goddamn people, man. Are you kidding me?
She's
And
80. Schumer's
she's 83.
No, I think she just turned 80. I think, but fact check that up.
Yeah.
And I think Schumer is what 76 or 74.
She did just
Biden
turn 80.
78. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I really want, like, whenever I decide to take this country over by force, one of the things that's going to happen is that there's going to be an age limit on politicians. You have to have 25 years remain. It's like to get promoted in the military, you have to have 2 years of retainability. Otherwise, I'm not going to promote you. Why would I? Why would I give you more money unless you're going to fucking commit to me too, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have you have to be within 25 years of the average age of your gender's fucking lifespan, right? You have to spend a quarter century living with the world you fucking created. Otherwise, like what? Tell me this: what benefit does Donald Trump or Joe Biden have to make this a better place, other than their own ego? because they don't have to live in this fucking world.
know,
Not only are they rich, but they'll be fucking dead soon. They're not gonna have to live 25 years from now and deal with the world they've created. It's just not gonna happen.
No, and with the Trump thing, I'll still go back to this. When you're that rich, why even run for president?
Well, Milo likes to think that the best possible ruling scenario over America or maybe any country is probably some kind of oligarchy of people who are so rich and privileged that they're emotionally and financially detached from society, so they can make intellectually sound decisions. Now, that is good in principle, the same way libertarianism is, but we've seen what happens in these scenarios, right?
Yeah.
You give Jeff Bezos more money and more power, and what does he do? I want to spend $10 billion on climate research. Like, really? Why don't you spend $10 billion making sure that black Americans in poor areas have access to food, water, education, and fucking entrepreneurship, you fucking cunt? And stop pretending like we're destroying the environment when China and India account for 85% of that shit. God damn it.
Yeah.
Can we not have a reasonable fucking discussion? So I don't believe any of that stuff, frankly.
No, I don't either. And fuck, if I'm even Bezos, let's take in that situation, $10 billion, right? When you try to help the people in America who all they would do is grow up and just buy more shit from Amazon?
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Fuck, even if you were just doing it for greed and power, the best thing you could do, help out everybody who needs it, because then they could afford to go to Amazon and buy shit to get it shipped to their house in 48 hours.
Yeah, it makes sense to, I mean, this is the way that mill villages in the South, the textile industry, handled things for years. They built entire communities around their fucking textile mill, right?
Yeah.
Gave them severely discounted rent or APRs in their homes that they would buy, and set up fucking stores in that area. Like, it's the same thing that Google does today, right? For their
Tesla's
employees.
doing it right now.
Same
here
thing
in
Tesla
Austin.
does.
Yeah.
Like childcare, they fucking wash your car. They get you discounts on shit. They want to make sure you as a worker is happy and as well taken care of as possible, because that's when we know statistically from fucking hundreds of years of research that is how you get the most out of your people.
Yeah.
Right? It's the reason that Target makes $6, or Target makes 6 times more per employee than Walmart does.
Right.
6 times more, Target to Walmart. Why do you think that is? It's because at Walmart, after 5 years, your average salary is somewhere in the $38,000 range, and at Target, it's somewhere in the $56,000 range, and you're probably a manager within that time.
Right.
That's why, right? It's the same thing when McDonald's figured it out. You can make good money working at McDonald's.
Chick-fil-A, In-N-Outs.
Chick-fil-A. There's a lot of, like, people think of McDonald's as some kind of fucking, like, oh, they're a big conglomerate American fucking capitalist pig company. In reality, you can go make $65,000, $70,000 a year as a manager at McDonald's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you just stick around for a little while. So I don't believe this bullshit. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And the way these people talk about the rules, right? So Pelosi with her rules and then immediately coming up and breaking them. Gavin Newsom talking about an imminent public health emergency, but then he goes out and does his thing, and Alder, whatever the fuck, Alder from here in Austin, that
Cabo
fucking
Steve.
dummy.
Yeah, Cabo Steve, yeah.
He's a fucking idiot too. I wish we had Matt Gaetz on the show today, because I'd love to ask him to start filing complaints every time a Democrat in Congress any Democrat in Congress uses a gendered pronoun.
Yeah.
Or a gendered word in any way, start fucking like, oh,
Fine.
sorry.
Like, it's like a swear
Like
jar.
every single fucking time it happens. Just
Put a
hire
little cash in there.
just hire an intern to do it, and just, because what it really does is betray how fucking stupid the whole thing is. You know what I mean? Any of these rules that are made and then selectively applied, those aren't real rules, right? I mean, if you fall off a cliff, you're gonna break your fucking back and head, and you're gonna die, right? And it's the same for fucking Republicans and Democrats, white people, black people, men and women, poor and rich. Everybody that falls off that cliff dies. And if a rule is not like that, if it is applied selectively, or if its nature is selective, then it doesn't work for this country. It just doesn't work. And this is more and more bullshit.
And it's only going to, we're 14 days in. We're only 14 days into the year. So you might as well treat yourself to some healthy food. I eat HelloFresh every day. My wife cooks it. So this is the easiest fucking read of all time. We actually reached out to them and said, hey, man, will you come on the show? It would be great. This is the easiest sale of all time. Go to HelloFresh.com/DrinkinBros10. And when you use the code DrinkinBros10, you get 10 free meals, including free shipping. That's it. They're just saying, hey, man, Try out the food. If you like it, we're going to give you 10 free meals on us.
You're gonna like it.
Sent to your house. Yes,
It's good food. I mean, there's
5 nights a week out of this, and then we'll usually have like a pizza night with the
Yeah.
kids or something like that. But the reason why I got into it was I caught Jessie. I thought I'd come home from work. She had made the most amazing meal on the planet, and I found the HelloFresh box in the fucking trash can, and I said, hey man, I'm not even mad about that because the goddamn meals were amazing.
yeah.
So it's just pre-measured ingredients, fresh recipes. It shows up. You have a little instruction thing on how to do it, and then boom, you can create like the best meal of all time for your kids, your spouses, for your gay lovers, anything.
Anybody you want, yeah.
Anybody you want, man. So look, man, go to hellofresh.com/drinkinbros10 and use the code drinkinbros10 once you're in there for 10 free meals, including free shipping. That's hellofresh.com/drinkinbros10
Yep.
and then use the promo code drinkinbros10 for 10 free meals, including free shipping. It's America's #1 meal kit. Those guys are #1 in America for a reason. Best fucking food in the biz. Next up, Twitter has lost billions of dollars since Friday nights.
Yeah.
The shutdown, because you and I were on a conference call, and it happened around, what was it, 6 Central, 7, I think, East Coast.
Something like that, yeah.
When they blocked Donald John Trump, and then Facebook followed suit as well. They've also lost billions of dollars in the stock markets. And they're just cracking down on conservative shit. I did not know about the Tim Pool thing.
Well, that just happened.
That just
literally
happened right
before the
now,
show,
and
yeah.
it's like, dude, how is that going to help your fucking stock?
Yeah, it's not. Is the answer.
No. It's going to get to a point where everybody's quitting and leaving and all that shit. Me personally, like on Twitter, I noticed. I think you just left. You just deleted your shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You were like, I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah, I don't think Twitter's value is based on how many subscribers they have and also how much traffic they get. So every time you go there, you're giving them $1.
Correct. And for me, shit, man, we're promoting things for the show and guests and all that other bullshit. And I've got a decent size one, but I mean, I think that I've lost over the last 2 years 100,000 followers, 110, somewhere in there. Just from fucking people getting banned and all that other shit. From this, I know we lost maybe another 6,500 over the weekend. Like, I mean, it's fucking crazy. Everybody's getting banned, booted, all that other shit. I don't know what's going to happen with this, but a few days ago, Twitter issued the following statement ahead of the Ugandan election. We're hearing reports that internet service providers are being ordered to block social media and messaging apps. We strongly condemn internet shutdowns. They are hugely harmful, violate basic human rights and the principles of the hashtag open internet. Are you fucking kidding?
That is like some Olympic level cognitive dissonance. Like unbelievable. And then, of course, by now, I'm sure most people have seen Dorsey's lamentations about his own actions on his own fucking platform.
But he said, I'm going to create another platform that is free speech, and it's the opposite of Twitter. What the fuck are we doing here?
To me, and we talked about this. There's a really good conversation about it on Patreon on the Alex Jones Show. If you guys want to go check that out, there's a really good conversation on that. But I'm honestly of the belief that Jack Dorsey is now it's like iRobot, where the old man was a prisoner of the robot in his own fucking place, and he had to kill himself to fucking get the word out. You know what I mean? To get Will Smith to show up and solve the problem. I feel like Dorsey is trapped on all sides. I think that he is. I think this is a slitting your wrist kind of deal, where it's a cry for help. To be honest, I'm surprised Twitter even let him do it, because he's clearly not in control anymore.
No, and look, part of me thinks like, dude, what if somebody big on the right just came in and bought him out? Because that was a rumor at one point.
Like Sheldon Adelson's fucking estate just comes in and is like, hey, we'll give you fucking $100 billion for Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, what would it look like to do that? I mean, honestly, that might be a solution to some stuff, but it would only be a solution if it was somebody that was truly invested in egalitarianism, right? Somebody that sees, like, you know what? In America, I can do pretty much whatever I want. Why is that the case? It's the case because of the people who fought and died for it. It's the case because of the ethos of America, which is self-determinism. It's also the case because somebody in power at some point decided to, against their own interest politically, stand up for other people, right? Your voice is more important than what you say. The fact that you own that voice is always going to be more important than what you say, at least in principle. And people that defend the voice are much more likely to get my support than people that defend their own voice.
Yeah.
I'll never trust anybody who only defends things as far as their own self-interest goes. To me, that person is that's transparent. I know exactly what you're trying to do. You're trying to fucking take care of yourself and nobody else, and I don't trust you because of it.
Yeah, so one of our listeners just said that Project Veritas just dropped a whistleblower video.
Yeah, I
of the
sent
man
you a
Jack
link to
Dorsey.
it. It's in Drinkin Bros Gmail account if you want to pull that video up.
Man, my only problem with Project Veritas is like, it's never like the most professional thing where you can really get behind it and be like, oh shit.
Well, they
all
got
right.
that woman here I think it was in San Antonio actually, right? Or was it El Paso? I don't remember. The woman that was like doing ballot collection and shit, she got arrested yesterday. So that's a big win for them.
Okay, you can go ahead and post this. Will they have volume on it as well? They won't have volume on it on the video if we post this video right now.
Yeah. It should. You should have volume on it, right?
Yeah, pop in there. This just got sent in by listeners.
Yeah, we're doing this live, guys. So hang on a second.
I haven't seen it or heard it yet. Because we just finished that Alex Jones interview like 20 minutes before. Will I be able to hear it in my headphones?
Just to close out a little bit, we are focused on one account right now.
All right, so just rewind it to the beginning real quick.
There
you go. And then play it now.
Throw that shit up.
Always feel free to express yourself in whatever format, manifestation feels right.
Pay close attention.
We do intend to do a full retro, as I said in my note. It is going to take some time. And then the other thing, just to close out a little bit, we are focused on one account right now, but this is going to be much bigger than just one account, and it's going to go on for much longer than just this day, this week, the next few weeks. It's going to go on beyond the inauguration. We have to expect that. We have to be ready for that. So the focus is certainly on this account and how it ties to real world violence, but also we need to think much longer term around how these dynamics play out over time. I don't believe this is going away anytime soon. And the moves that we're making today around QAnon, for instance, is one such example of a much broader approach that we should be looking at and going deeper on. So the team has a lot of work and a lot of focus on this particular issue, but we also need to give them the space and the support to focus on the much bigger picture because it is not going away. The U.S. is extremely divided. Our platform is showing that every single day, and our role is to protect the integrity of that conversation and do what we can to make sure that no one is being harmed based off that. And that is the focus, and that is the color we want to provide.
There you have it. Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter, recorded by one of his own employees, an insider whistleblower at Twitter, recorded saying this is going to be much bigger than just one account, revealing some censorship. You can see our motto at Veritas, our organization protected by an army of citizen patriots. We've had over a dozen people reach out to us this week with video, evidence inside Twitter.
I don't ever need to hear him talk,
James
frankly,
O'Keefe ever. But
ever.
Look, I can.
I love the fucking hat, putting the hat on with the suit. Like it's like rolling your sleeves up.
Gotta sell that merch, dog.
Who is this fucking clown, and who the fuck does he think he is?
James O'Keefe is his name.
I know what
and
his fucking stupid name is.
Sell that merch.
We're
dog.
protected by an army of patriots. No, you're not. You fucking clown, and nor should you be. You're not a country. An army of patriots should not be protecting you. Shut your fucking mouth. I'm gonna punch this guy in his fucking face. Like seriously, I'm gonna beat the Christ out of this guy sometime. I can tell. If I ever see him in person, we're gonna fight. I'm almost sure of it.
I will say this, man. I enjoy seeing videos like this and seeing what goes on behind the curtain. Because, like, look, I can tell you from a Hollywood aspect that video is not edited. Those are typically conference calls you have with all your employees on like Zoom or whatever. you have to know that this is going to get out there. In regards to the QAnon thing, fuck, man, we should probably talk about this next week because Alex Jones laid it all out today with that. And that, again, that is on the Patreon at Drinkin Bros podcast. But what you're basically saying with a statement like that is, hey, man, we're not going to stop until everybody's fucking gone and we have total control and we live in an echo chamber of whatever Twitter is what we say it is at this point. And it's not surprising. What is surprising, though, is to hear him lose his mind last night when it was like, oh, man, we're all wrong and everything else. I can only imagine the hatred he's getting online after the Trump thing.
Yeah.
Because, look, say what you will, but Trump supporters are loyal and fierce. So I'm sure the reaction to Trump being banned off Twitter has not been sweet for old Jack Dorsey, who is looking older and older by the day. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, I mean he's
reverse Benjamin Button.
Yeah, he's not that old of a man, and it's I honestly he does seem like you can see, particularly at the beginning of that video, he's addressing what he thinks is a private audience of his own people, and he's trying to talk about giving them the space to do their work, which means he's getting pressure from probably every possible point. I'm sure there are people inside of Twitter, inside of the organization, who are like, dude, this is a really bad precedent. You can't do this. And it's like the gun debate, right? So, yes, if we were to ban all guns, we would stop probably about 10,000 deaths per year out of the 330 million people in this country. What are the consequences, the second and third order consequences of banning guns, though, right? There are very huge consequences. One is that people who don't care about the ban will still have guns. We all know that.
Right.
And they will be terrorizing all the rest of the people. So maybe that 10,000 gets made up in the aggregate. You know what I mean? What is the consequence of allowing, let's say that QAnon, if enough people do believe QAnon to make that person or that group dangerous, whatever it is, or if Trump were indeed engaged in some kind of fucking insurrection talk, which he was not. That's fucking nonsense. He's an idiot, but he wasn't doing that. I mean, goddamn. So even if he was, is it a big enough threat? Is 250 people storming the Capitol building a big enough threat to wipe out the freedom of speech, the access to put your information out on the internet, and the access for people out there and the general public to receive that information unfiltered by the government? Is that important enough to not necessarily worry so much about 250 people? The answer is obviously yes, right? Ben Franklin said it 250 years ago. If you're willing to sacrifice your freedom for some temporary security, you don't deserve either one of those things.
Yeah.
That's a very profound statement, and it's one that we've seemed to have forgotten. There are bigger things at stake about you winning the goddamn argument right now. This is our country that we're talking about, the foundation of which is individual determinism and the fucking access to free fucking information.
And again, looking at the stock price here for Twitter, it finished the day here down another 3%. So it's a
21.
You're about a total of 20% since this all started. Because look, not only is Jack Dorsey getting pressure from the Trump supporters and everything else, but now your own board of directors is going to step in and say, "Hey, man, we're losing billions of dollars here. What the fuck are we going to do about that?" Because at the end of the day, it's still a business. You're still making money. And the same argument applies to, it's a private business. They're allowed to do whatever they want. Yes, they are. But when it is a publicly traded company and you were losing billions of dollars for your shareholders, somebody else is going to have to answer for that.
A private company is not allowed to do whatever it wants. If I started a company today that sold rocket launchers, I couldn't just sell rocket launchers. There's fucking rules against that shit, right? And if you start a company, whether it's social media or a fucking web hosting company, and you use your fucking power in that company to oppress or to kill dissent or any of that stuff that is so important in the fabric of America, then you've broken the fucking law. Maybe not the actual on-books law, but you've broken the law of man. You've broken a law that is not going to go to court. You understand? If you fucking come steal my shit or you cheat on your taxes or you do any of these other things, yeah, you might have to have your day in court at some point, but your day in court when you come after the rights of man is a fucking gun in your face, bitch. Do you not understand that? Do you not understand how fucking much people in this country care about that shit?
Yeah.
Like, they care about it so much that we have one of the only volunteer armies in the entire goddamn world that have gone all over the world in the last 50 years to fight battles, good and bad, right? Because they believe so much in this country. You think they're going to fucking just sit around while this is happening? You're out of your fucking mind, man. God damn it.
Yeah, and old Jack Dorsey could use a little bit of Hawthorne right now.
I'm sure they love
there
that
it is.
segue.
Yeah, what a great segue. What a day for segues. I feel like besides Paul Blart Mall Cop, this is the best segue we could possibly get here today. Hawthorne. .co. That's a .co on this one. Use the promo code Drinkin Bros to get 10% off your first purchase here. This is the time to take care of yourself. You got to get some men's grooming products here. Hawthorne is like the very nicest in the world. I'm sure. I bet you Jack Dorsey would use this shit if he's, just doing normal shit every day, but he's not. Otherwise, he would look a little better than he does. It's a premium tailored personal care brand that's making it easier for guys to feel and smell your best. Take a little quiz. They ask things like, what's your favorite drink? How do you spend a night out? Things like that. Do you smoke? And then, it's a fucking easy quiz, dude. It's simple. And then the products you get around that, like I get some face lotion, I get some other shit. And I was like, hey, man, I don't get enough sleep. And they're like, great, man. You need some face lotion. You need some fucking face wash, all that other shit. And it's the very best in the biz. Go to hawthorne.co. Use the promo code Drinkin Bros to get 10% off your first purchase. That's HAWTHORNE.co. Promo code Drinkin Bros. Hawthorne.co. Promo code Drinkin Bros. Start taking care of yourself. It's a new year, new you.
Don't be a bitch.
Yeah, new year, new donkey, dude. You always smell nice.
I do, yeah.
D'Anthony.
I think it's important to look and smell nice.
Yeah.
It's if you were publishing a book, you wouldn't wrap it in pictures of fucking aborted fetuses, right?
I would never do that.
That'd be weird.
Yeah.
You put pretty things on there because you want people to pick it up and read it.
Absolutely.
And I want people to pick me up and read me.
And they just might if you play your cards right.
It's my favorite thing when people want to engage and have and share time with me. Right? I'm never angry when people try to talk to me in public ever.
You get a complete opposite human, and it's great. If you think we're lying, by the way, listen to Rogan's podcast yesterday with Giannis Papas. They were talking about Dan on there in the opening 2 minutes. It's pretty funny. Next up, will Trump leave the country? That has been a big question that has been going on. It seems crazy to think about because I don't think that, to my memory, I don't think a president's ever left the country after they got out of office. But if you're him at this point, do you want to deal with the rest of this shit that's going on? So I've heard speculations of Scotland and...
Well, his mother is Scottish, so he's got Scottish citizenship, plus he owns property there, so he could go there. I mean, they have...
he's got golf courses and shit all over the world, too. So
he's got golf courses in Dubai, which is UAE, and they don't have an extradition treaty with us. They in Azerbaijan, a bunch of places. But, I mean... This is ludicrous, obviously, right?
Sort of. I often think what I would do when you got to this point, right? And if you're Trump and you've been blocked on every platform, the fucking media is just tearing you down. Do you want to read this shit or hear this shit or watch this shit all day? A countryside in Ireland or Scotland would sound pretty goddamn good if I were Trump right now. For a little bit. Obviously, you're not going to live out the remainder of your days there, maybe.
Well, I don't know why not. I mean, he's a golf player, and Scotland was invented there, right? Plus,
Yeah.
there's Scotch, but he doesn't drink, so I don't know what he would do in Scotland. I mean, look, if
have sex with his hot wife, and
he hasn't had sex in a long time, probably, right? Let's be real.
You think?
Yeah. The only thing that you can do in Scotland is drink Scotch and whatever they were doing in Train Spotting, right? Which is heroin. So. Probably not Trump's speed.
A lot of people are saying Poland, dude, that Poland rocks right now. I have not been to Poland, but, shit.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, but this is retarded, right? So Trump's real estate empire extends to multiple luxury properties in countries all over the world.
Yes.
Azerbaijan, UAE. I mean, he's got places fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
What crime exactly are we going to charge Donald goddamn Trump with? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what's the crime? I mean, we know there's literally no question that this doesn't rise to the level of insurrection or incitement of violence because of Brandenburg v. Ohio. There's a very clear line drawn in the sand about what is and what is not incitement, right? And he's done nothing even remotely approaching that shit.
Yeah.
You can make a better case against CNN than you can against him, right? But, once you control the Justice Department, you can do whatever the fuck you want, right?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. There's a guy in here in the message boards, C. Kaladaria Q. Says, leave Veritas alone. He does more to fight big tech than your podcast. Look, I agree with that, actually. It's not that I don't think he's doing admirable work, James O'Keefe. I just don't like the presentation of it. It seems very dark and ominous, and the theme music's a little much for me. And then him turning towards camera and putting his merch on is a little much for me, too.
James O'Keefe is a fucking clown, and so are you. You can suck my fucking dick.
There
If you don't
go.
like the way we fucking do business here, get the fuck out of our goddamn channel, you bitch. Jesus Christ. This guy's like fucking hocus pocus James O'Keefe. I know for a fact that in real life, the guy's a piece of shit. Right? So fuck him, fuck Project Veritas and all that other bullshit, although I do appreciate when people send them tips.
I do.
Because it is interesting.
It is.
But
It
still,
is.
don't fucking try to compare the two things.
It's the
you can get fucked,
presentation
you fucking
of
clown.
Project
You,
Veritas.
if you're the type of fucking person that watches a Project Veritas video and you're like, oh, we got him, man, then you're a fucking problem in America. You're a stupid motherfucker and you don't deserve to watch this show in the first place. So again, I'll come all the way back around to the beginning of that part where I said, suck my fucking dick.
Kurt Cates is a first-time listener. Welcome, Kurt.
Yeah. Kayla White says her dad just spit out his beer. I apologize, Mr. White, for creating that alcohol abuse, and I would ask you not to do it again, please, because don't waste booze.
And again, like the Veritas video, like I enjoyed seeing. We would never get to see that. I just don't. The ominous music and the presentation of it and
It's a bit much.
The merch thing is hey, like on the podcast, yes, we have advertisers that have to pay for the show and
But you know
all
what we
of
don't
our
do?
employees.
You know what we don't do is, by the way, look at my hat, man.
Yeah.
You can buy it for $25. Fuck you, James.
We do that.
James O'Keefe, you fucking cunt. Fuck you.
We
Can we set up a fight between me and James O'Keefe? I
great.
will beat him to fucking death.
Jake Paul, if Jake Paul can fight McGregor,
Yeah.
I think Dan could fight James O'Keefe
Yeah.
and it'd be fine.
I'll actually train for it, and then I'll just attack him outside of his fucking dressing room before the fight even happens. Because
I would like
there's
to
no
see it
rules,
in
bitch. Look
public,
at me.
yeah.
Do I look like somebody that follows the goddamn rules? No. No, I'm Tanya Harding, motherfucker. I'm Jeff Gillooly. I'm coming after your knees, James O'Keefe. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to fight the guy, but he is a
Not
cunt.
going to fight the guy. And look, I appreciate some of the shit. I just, the presentation's a little weird. And on a podcast, the difference is we're telling you to buy the products because, yes, we've got to pay for our employees and all that stuff. And we love the fucking products.
We also
I don't
use
have a
them, yeah.
problem. Yeah, I don't.
There isn't a single product that we endorse that I don't use personally.
It didn't look like
Right.
James O'Keefe was comfortable in that hat. I don't know if that was the right size or fit for him.
No.
But
He seems like the kind of guy that gets shit on, doesn't he?
maybe like an OBJ.
Yeah, or peed on or something.
Yeah,
Like there's something weird with that guy for sure.
I think it's baby play.
baby play. You
Yeah.
think he dresses up in a diaper and he's like, I don't want to go to my room. It's
Yeah.
like, James, you got to go to your room, buddy.
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna go the Army Hammer route. I think he's trying to wear somebody's skin and
He's
eat
a
them.
cannibal.
Yeah. I think it's more darker than that.
I happen to know somebody that has been involved with him.
Sexually?
Yes.
Ooh, what was his thing?
It wasn't a dude. Oh, you mean James thing? I'm not getting into all that. That's not the point. The point is that I know for a fact that this guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And it's not even about his personal. This is not a fucking ad hominem attack. They consistently get to about 60% of the way and declare victory. It's like the mission accomplished thing by Bush on the aircraft carrier.
Right.
It was 2005, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever the fuck. It's like, oh, is it over now? Because we continued to fight until we're still fighting 15 fucking years later. So, yeah, just relax, guys. Come on.
Next up, will face mask ever end? England's Deputy Chief Medical Officer, Professor Jonathan Van Tam, which is a badass name.
That is a great name. John Van Tam.
Oh, it's great.
It's Van hyphen Tam.
Van Tam.
Yeah.
Jonathan Van Tam. He told The Sun, which is their big publication over there, the pandemic has changed how Britons approach hygiene and that some habits we have adopted will still stay with us. Another top medic, himself, said that lockdown will probably end are probably with us until mid to late spring. That makes sense as well. And then he says the pandemic's changed a lot of things. It has changed the way you and I approach hand hygiene. I agree. Everybody's carrying sanitizer around, and when in a crowded place in the winter, I'm going to put a face covering on. When I'm in a tube, tube is obviously a subway, not a
tube.
fart tube.
Oh, I thought you meant like tubes, like Jeff Tubin.
No,
My
no. And I'm going to put a face covering on, and we might have to wear a mask forever. Some people will. As crazy as that sounds, by the way, that was my fear when all of this started. Was look, I don't like the face mask, and I've been pretty fucking open about it. But I certainly understand why and whatever. So I have obliged and done it. However, yeah, man, I think fucking people are paranoid, and I think we will see people wearing these the rest of our lives. I think he's right. Not everyone. I don't think it'll be mandatory, but in Los Angeles, man, for fucking 20 years, dude.
The Chinesers have been doing it for years.
For years.
And I said Chinesers. You heard me correctly.
Yeah.
Let's just move on.
Yeah. But it's been going on for years, and look, planes out in public, all that other shit. Yes, I think this will extend to not only some Americans, but the rest of the world forever. And we're going to see these goddamn things forever, man.
I mean,
this sucks.
It's been the policy in hospitals for years. If you come into the hospital and you're coughing, put a fucking mask on so you don't cough in people's faces. That's a reasonable expectation. If you're sick, put a mask on. Yeah. The problem with coronavirus, obviously, is that we couldn't tell until people were already contagious for almost a week, at least half a week, that they were actually contagious, right?
Yeah.
I understand the information makes sense, but the vast majority of people don't actually get sick. So
no, and look, this will go on for a very long time, and I understand why he's saying this. I actually watched that interview as well. And
Jacob Nichols says he wears a condom 24 hours a day just in case.
Well, that you have to, because you never know when you're going to stick your dick in something.
Well,
so I agree with that.
Not going to wear a condom regardless of where my dick goes. That's a non sequitur.
Depends on how fertile you are.
I don't care about that.
Maybe Jacob Nichols just does not want his seed out into the world, and he's protecting other people.
I saw a fucking article yesterday on Instagram. It was probably not true because it's on, again, Instagram.
Yeah.
But it said like 1 million babies have already been aborted in the U.S. in 2021. That seems unlikely, right?
It's a high number, I think.
Like 1 million already?
Yeah.
Maybe it was globally, but even if it is globally, like fucking good job getting that out of the way soon.
Well,
I feel like we're on pace to set a record this year.
Yeah.
Let's fucking keep it going. Dude. Let's fucking do this, man. I mean, look, 2021, everybody's talking about, 2020 sucked, man, and we're going to do it this year. No, 2021 is going to be way worse than 2020.
Yeah.
Way worse. So let's set that abortion record. What else can we do?
All of the things.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's figure it out.
I want to wear eye mask. I just want to wear an eye mask as well. Face mask, eye mask. I don't want to be able to see, smell, talk to people. I don't want to do any of it.
Are we talking like a burqa or fully blind?
I want to go full blind. I want to go full Keller with
like
this
those
shit.
the glasses.
Just in case. Yes.
Yeah, those. It's like those. It's basically like those pit viper glasses with the wrap on the inside of it, the black duct tape on the inside, or the whatever the fuck the other tape, because look, you don't want to see anything.
No.
Because then you're responsible. I'm not even kidding. So if you have a house, it's one thing. But if you run a private business, and I bet you there are a bunch of private business owners out there that have talked to their legal counsel over the years. Mm-hmm. If you have a camera that's pointed outside of your fucking building somewhere, then you are now liable for anything that happens on that camera. Like the police can come grab your fucking tapes, or like imagine a scenario where somebody's trying to escape a fire and they're trying to jump over your fence, but they can't. Now they're going to sue you because you have footage of them doing that stuff.
Yeah.
It's a warning sign, right?
Yeah.
It's a warning to people to not fucking pay too much attention. The ostrich with its head in the sand should be, instead of the stars on the flag, that should be our new fucking logo for America. Like, no, I didn't see nothing, man.
Yeah.
I didn't see nothing.
Just
right?
a headless ostrich in the sand.
That's where we're headed with this fucking. I could never have imagined that so many Americans would be fucking beating the fucking war drum and cheering on censorship. Mm-hmm. Unimaginable that in this country that could have happened, but here we are.
Here we are. A lot of people are asking an update on the Patreon, so I'm going to look here right now. We're over 500, Giorgio. So it's at 55% uploaded right now, so you're going to get your wish. Yeah, about an hour and a half. Shit, you're gonna get that Alex Jones thing tonight then. Hour and a half tops. Are you able to see like who the 600th or 700th person is, Giorgio? What's that? Yeah, monitor it, and then we'll give away a signed book to whoever the 600th person is. And in the meantime, that interview will be up and out tonight.
What were you saying about me telling people to get fucked or some shit?
Yeah, so you're on here. We've got you down as the get fucked. That's all. You get all the bonus content, and you probably get a personal get fucked from Dan.
Where is that on the page?
It's where the Jesse's Be Best was.
Yeah.
We got a Swarm and
Dan's
Jesse's.
get fucked.
I don't know where any of that is. The Patreon page from our side. Where the fuck is this?
Oh, just refresh it. Just Google it. Patreon.com
No,
/Drinkin
I'm
Bros
logged
podcast.
into it right now. I'm looking at it, but I don't know where what you're talking about is. Where are the benefits broken down by the dollar amounts?
Yeah. Right there, dude. There's Giorgio in there. Looking good, Giorgio.
Benefits.
Look at that. He got a haircut. He's all shined up. Looks like a little Miami pool boy.
Sweet.
Yeah, there it is. There he is. And you'll be watching UFC live on Drinkin Bros Sports this weekend too. Is it Max Holloway?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Holloway fight this weekend.
I think we got a real hot girl coming in too for it.
Really?
I think so.
Okay. Is the fucking intern going to be here?
No.
Okay. Man, she got fucked up last time. Subscribe to Drinkin Bros Sports for that. That's free. All of that shit is free. Only the controversial shit, and we're going to put some other shit on there. So, is on the Patreon. For number 600, we'll give a signed book away for As the Sun Rises, It Dawns on Him, which is crushing right now. We'll get a sign on hardback. So tell whoever number 600 is, we'll ship you one out of there. Last but not least this week, this is my favorite story of the week. A couple in Canada have been fined after police caught the wife walking her husband like a dog after curfew. The woman, 24, was reportedly stopped while walking her 40-year-old spouse on a leash in Quebec. The province has imposed a nightly curfew in a bid to curb the spread of COVID. People are only allowed out close to their homes for limited reasons between 8 p.m. and 5 p.m., such as walking their dogs. One of them had the other on a leash. She said she was taking her dog, pointing at the partner obviously, out on a walk as allowed under the exceptions provided by Quebec's premier under its curfew law. This is great.
That's pretty funny, yeah.
Where's the trans species advocates that are protecting this man's rights to identify as a dog?
Yeah.
You know?
These are my favorite things in life. It's these situations where
I wish there was a picture of this.
Yeah, I mean,
of
it would
the
be
woman
amazing.
walking her husband. Here's the thing, though. Shout out to him. He's 40 and he got a 24-year-old. And
and all
obviously,
he had to do was wear a dog collar and a fucking leash.
that's all you have to do out
Yeah.
there. If you're 40 and you're looking for a 24-year-old,
I think that's what the
just say,
fucking the no neck dude from that other show was really upset about. He couldn't get a collar that fit his fucking neck, and he couldn't get the fucking Asian girl, right?
Yeah.
That was his real problem. I love these situations, not just because they're weird, which I do enjoy super weird things, because life is fucking pointless and boring, obviously. But they expose the stupidity of the like infinity genders and like the trans situation, whatever the fuck the ideology is. Whenever someone tries to do it in a way that disagrees with their general worldview or that interferes with their day-to-day life, they're like, I mean, come on, that's a bit much, don't you think?
yeah.
Like Nancy Pelosi spends all that time. There's no way that it was a 5-minute conversation to decide that they were going to use gender fucking words in Congress for an entire session of Congress. That was a prolonged conversation where people deliberated and then came to a decision to do it. And within the first 6 seconds of the new session, she broke that rule because she knows, as well as everybody else, that it's fucking stupid, right?
I don't think she could help herself. And I
No.
think, because when you...
The day they put that rule out,
Yeah.
people were posting pictures of her Instagram page,
Yeah.
and it said mother, wife, whatever the fuck, grandmother, right?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. You can't even abide by your own rules in your day-to-day life. You're going to fucking ask other people to do it, but that's the crux, right? That is the oligarchy. That is the born in the purple bullshit, where these people who have been in power for so long and surrounded by sycophants for so long that they think there's some kind of majesty to just their voice. Like, I thought of it, it must be correct because I'm correct. That is not how life works, bitch.
No.
You know what I mean? It's fucking ludicrous to think that way. And that's the reason that those people typically end up like the royal family from Russia before the USSR started. And you can look that up and figure out what happened on your own.
Yeah, and I would like to say personally, I would like to see more stories like this. I want to see more men being walked on leashes in cold weather climates, such as Canada, and enjoying their lives. Because that's clearly a dom sub sitch, and I'm sure it was his kink to do it, and they were like, "Well,
hey, good for him,
let's
man.
exploit the rules."
I don't appreciate them calling them out for this. I
Me
mean,
neither.
Look, 2020 was a difficult year for a lot of people. I'm sure Canada's way more boring than America is. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, Toronto is like New York without the stuff. You know what I mean? Let's be real about that. And that's their best city. So, they're struggling up there. All the fucking shutdowns, the isolation, all this stuff is probably getting to them at this point. And the guy's like, you know what? Everything's going to hell. Before I die, I'm going to let this girl spit in my mouth one time. And then it just escalates from there.
Yeah, and then walk me like a dog.
All of a sudden, you're walking like, you know what? You can walk me like a dog. Hey, we could use that to get out of the house for a couple of fucking hours.
Yeah,
Like,
let's
oh,
do it.
shit, let's do that, and then we'll come back and fuck. That's great.
It's great.
That is great for everyone involved in that situation. Look, I'll tell you what people who are walking their partner on a leash like a dog don't do. They don't go up to other people.
Yeah.
They pretty much stay
stick
to
to
themselves.
themselves,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So they're probably not going to spread any coronavirus to anybody, provided they had it in the first place. Leave these people alone.
Yeah.
The kinkier things get, the better they get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The sexier.
Just leave
Make
kids.
America sexy again.
Leave kids alone. Try if you can to leave pets alone, but we'll see, right? And then ask for consent from time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
We
then,
back on dog banging?
Look, don't start with that.
We're
shit.
not starting with that.
No.
What we're saying is
Somebody
it's
told
okay
me
to be walked like one.
Somebody DM me and were like, man, I tried to listen to the whole show yesterday, but you guys started talking about fucking dogs. Like, look, I wasn't talking about fucking dogs. I was talking about dogs fucking.
Yes.
That's not the same thing,
yes.
God damn it.
Yes. And then it just drifted off.
Switch those two
into-
words around. I wasn't talking about fucking dogs. I'm talking about dogs fucking.
Yeah.
Not the same thing.
Not the same thing.
But
We'd
one
be here
person
for
did
another
DM me
half
and
hour if we kept talking about that.
Yeah,
So
of
one
course.
let's
person
not
did,
open up that door.
one person did DM me and say that they walked in on their dog's fucking missionary one time.
Yeah.
And I was like, man.
That's a tough image to shake.
He said it was when he was 6 years old, and he's in
Yeesh.
his 40s now, and he still remembers it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's a tough image to
and
shake.
that was my premise before. Like, you will never forget that shit. And I'm glad to be proved correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Now's the point of the show where we get to the Drinkin' Bro of the Week.
God damn it.
This one was
I had to
submitted.
go fucking bestiality before the Drinkin' Bro of the Week again.
Had to, dude. We'll see what happens.
Fuck, man.
Oh, this is Ben Johnson from South Dakota.
Please be alive.
Please be alive. Member of Drinkin' Bros since 2017. He's nominating Sam Johnson. Reason for nomination. Long story short, back in 17, I needed a podcast for work, and I heard the intro, grab a fucking drink, and was sold immediately. Spent the first couple months listening to every episode prior and caught up and haven't missed an episode since. Man, I appreciate that. My younger brother left for basic today, and as much as I tried to hide it, it was hard for me, and I'm going to miss that little bigger shit than me, and would mean the world to me if he got nominated. Kid's a baller, and the service has changed his life for the better. Nothing fancy, but family means the world to us, and I support him and what you guys do. We are both huge fans, and I get a little emotional typing this because he's the first of us to join the service, and I wish him nothing but the best, and for those starting out their journey. Laying here on my last night of Christmas break doesn't feel the same way without Sam, and I know he's going to kill it. I hope everyone out there can feel the same piece of family and serenity that we feel with his decision. Love the Drinkin' Bros family and have only felt support from day one.
Cool.
Rest easy, fam. That's a good one. Thank God nobody died.
Thanks
today.
for listening, and thanks to the guy that joined the military for serving your fucking country instead of sitting around talking about it.
Yeah. No.
There's a lot of ways to
Cheers.
serve. You don't have to join the military. You don't have to be a cop or firefighter. There's a lot of ways to serve your country and community. Figure out a way to fucking serve. Make your life worth something and stop being a fucking egotistical little cunt and thinking that the world revolves around you and that your pain on a day-to-day basis somehow defines the world. No, your pain is a fucking drop of water in the ocean. Turn your pain into something positive for other people. You know what I mean? Don't stop being such a fucking pussy. When did we turn into pussies in this country? Teddy Roosevelt fought a goddamn bear with his bare goddamn hands in a time when America was 100% set on not getting involved in foreign conflicts. There's no correlation between being pro-war and being manly. It's not a thing, right? Because in our least pro-war time in the entire history of this country, the president of the United States took off in his last term to like, you know what, fuck this. Went to fight bears and establish national parks. You know what I mean? Stop buying into these dumbass motherfucking narratives that these people have created for you. The media is full of shit.
Go out and punch a bear this weekend.
Yeah.
That's all we're asking.
Not a hairy gay man.
Yeah.
Because actually they're super sweet dudes.
Correct.
And
an actual physical.
They're like some of the
black
nicest
bear.
people on earth. Yeah, you want to punch a black or grizzly bear right in the face.
Punch either one of them in the face. Instead of going down to the Capitol, just go and punch a bear
Yeah.
in the face. It'll make you feel better. It'll make us feel better. You don't need the violence unless it's against an actual bear.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying out there. And if you want to submit to the Drinkin' Bro of the Week, go to drinkinbros.com. There's some butter soft teas on there for $19.99 as well.
Yep.
If you want to support the show. And as always, go to iTunes, rate the show a 5-star, and leave a quick review. It'll help.
And if you want
keep
to,
us in the top of the charts.
yeah, if you want to make a meme of bears flying planes into buildings on 9/11, so we can really get the momentum, anti-bear momentum going.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably a good thing. Or like just bears and like storming the Capitol, maybe.
If we start to channel our energy against Republicans and Democrats and channel it towards bears, I think we'll all be happier.
We don't need bears. What the fuck are they going to... If all the bears were dead today, I mean, there would be some cool pictures we wouldn't get, and there would be more salmon.
Yeah.
Fuck bears.
Yeah, we don't really need the bears. And to cap it off here on the old Patreon, we're past the 500 mark. At 600, we'll give you a signed copy of the... What are we at, Georgia? Huh? 581 right now.
Yep.
So we're getting close to 600 on there. And that episode of Alex Jones, video and audio, will be up tonight. Very shortly.
It's
What do
going
you
to be
think,
up.
an hour?
It'll be up as soon as it's uploaded, yeah.
Yeah. 8 p.m. Central, so 9 p.m. East Coast. And again, man, I know I said this at the top of the show, but you will never hear an Alex Jones interview like this one. He's
They're my favorite
very
ones
emotional.
with him. They're my favorite ones with him because people have all these ideas about Alex, and he is very loose with the way he talks sometimes, and he gives people the opportunity to take him out of context a lot. But what you saw in the Rogan episode where Jamie was fucking fact checking everything he said, he was right about everything.
Yeah.
And his sentiment when he comes on, particularly shows like ours, because he knows who we are as people. He's not going to come on here and try to fucking talk shit. He's going to come on here and talk about how, man, all I wanted to do was stop that bad shit was happening.
It is a very thoughtful and genuine interview, and you can check that out on Patreon in about an hour. Thanks for joining us today. For D'Anthony Holloway, I am Ross Patterson. This is Drinkin' Bros Fake News. Good night, everyone.